The DCEU has finally completed its Death and Return of Superman arc with, and now the dust has settled. It might just have been the shared universe's biggest mistake. The DC Extended Universe is 5 movies deep, and only one of those can be called an unprecedented success. The rest have admittedly made money, which is currently looking to lose Warner Brothers up to $100 million, yet stand out as critical failures, earning mostly negative reviews across the board. The reasons for this are plentiful and heavily discussed, but ultimately come down to the bold albeit challengingly flawed artistic vision and reactionary studio meddling. The 3 worst received movies, and were all tampered with in post-production to varying degrees. Read more Justice League reshoots. Every change Whedon made to Snyder's film, however, there is a third factor, one more ingrained in the actual text, that nevertheless looms large over the franchise and not only represents the core issues but actively developed them. It really cannot be overstated how much the DCEU's fate hinged on the death of Superman. And what a folly it was. Warner Brothers' obsession with killing Superman. This page: Warner Brothers has been obsessed with killing Superman for decades. The notion of killing Superman isn't some abstract idea, but a focused one powered almost exclusively by 1992's The Mega-Avengers and Alma Jurgens, Dan Jurgens' storyline did what it said on the tin. The Man of Steel was killed in a brutal brawl with the freshly introduced Kryptonian monster Doomsday, an epic turn in the then 54-year-old character's history. What followed was an arc originally called, but is now commonly known by the more accurate 4 potential replacements to the mantle, appeared in the months after Kal-El's death, vying to be crowned the true Superman, until the real Supes returned care of the Fortress of Solitude, now with infamous black suit and mullet. While it's famous and remains a popular trade paperback, there are few more definitive Superman stories. The tale has some major problems. Predominantly, it was mainly a marketing ploy. Comics were right in the middle of what was known as the speculator bubble in the early 1990s, where adult collectors drove sales up and led to a rise in special editions and a desire for potentially valuable issues. The death of Superhero was deemed by DC as the biggest they could cultivate, hence its mega event status. Indeed, as a story, it's not up to much. Superman is punched to death, then brought back after a period of treading water in the most obvious fashion. But that didn't matter to Warner Brothers. They saw the sales success of the comic run and understood the cultural cash of killing off one of modern culture's defining icons, as well as the subsequent excitement of a return, so became obsessed with turning it into a film. They came very close in the late 1990s with a Tim Burton project starring Nicolas Cage as Supes, but that fell through after the company suffered a string of financial failures, including, however, the idea remained and resurfaced in several of the proposed Superman scripts over the next decade. Elements even featured heavily in it was an obsession that transcends executive rule, and in 2016 they finally got their wish, and with it discovered why it was such a bad idea. Page 2, 1, 2, 3.